I spent 6 months and over $20,000 to plan a family vacation. However, when my mate's childhood sweetheart Victoria heard about our trip, she begged to join us. Alexander didn't hesitate. He canceled my spot in the protected convoy and gave it to her instead. He forced me to travel alone through deadly Shadow Pact territory, a 36-hour journey where 3 wolves had died last month. The whole family supported Alexander's decision without a thought for my safety, so I changed my travel plans. I headed north instead of south. I spent 3 months enjoying myself, ignoring their mind link message. That's when the family started to panic. It was rare for my mate Alexander to take time off from his warrior duties, so I planned a family trip to the Northern Territories. As the Pact's chief healer, I could easily afford it. My private practice brought in $50,000 monthly. Alexander's warrior salary barely reached $3,000. I spent 6 months choosing the safest routes and negotiating passage rights with other packs. The Northern Territories were notorious for being hostile to outside wolves. Each territory required separate permits, some charging up to $10,000 just for safe passage. Everyone else in the family just stood back while I handled everything: the territory permits, the safe houses, the hunting grounds, even the medical supplies we'd need. Alexander's parents lived in our villa's guest wing. They survived entirely on my income since retiring from pack duties. His teenage sister Emma had been my responsibility since she was 10. I didn't mind supporting them all. Seeing the family happy was worth any effort. My therapy practice was thriving. Wolves from all territories sought my services, especially for mate bond counseling. Getting safe passage through other territories was tricky, so I secured our permits early. When Emma mentioned she'd never traveled with a protected convoy before, I dipped into my savings to upgrade our entire family's travel arrangements. The extra $15,000 was worth it for their safety. Then, just before departure, Alexander dropped his bombshell. Victoria heard about our trip and wants to join. The protected convoy is full now, so you'll have to go through the Shadow Pact's territory alone. I've already arranged your passage permit. He sent me the travel document through our pack link. My blood ran cold when I saw the route. It went straight through the most dangerous part of Shadow Pact territory. 3 wolves had been killed there just last month. What do you mean? This is supposed to be a family trip, and you're inviting Victoria. Of course. Victoria wanted to come, so naturally I had to include her. My wolf stirred angrily beneath my skin. When my mother wanted to join us last week, what did you say? You said this was a pack-only trip, no outsiders. But the moment Victoria asks, you jump to accommodate her. Victoria isn't like your mother. She's practically pack, more than pack. In my heart, she's always been family. I felt my claws threatening to emerge. Then why am I the one who has to travel alone? Those convoy spots were secured months ago. The convoy's full. I had to cancel your spot to make room for Victoria. You're strong. You can go through Shadow Pact territory on your own. I checked the permit again. Of all the routes, he'd chosen the deadliest one. So Victoria gets the protected convoy while I risk my life crossing hostile territory alone? You're always saying you want to explore other territories. Now's your chance. I looked to James and Sarah, Alexander's parents whom I'd supported for years. James turned away. Sarah came over with a placating smile. Scarlett, dear, Victoria and Alexander grew up running the same hunting grounds. They have so many shared memories. Of course they should travel together. Just take the longer route and meet us there. Emma chimed in. Sister Scarlett, Victoria is delicate. She can't handle crossing Shadow Pact territory alone. You're strong and capable, you'll manage. I laughed bitterly. Who's really pack here? An outsider gets treated better than your pack therapist, your provider. Anyone would think Victoria was your true mate. Alexander's eyes flashed gold with anger. It's just a different travel route. Stop making such a fuss. Victoria's family, she ran with us since we were pups. We can't make her cross hostile territory alone. Make this small sacrifice, show what it means to be a proper mate. The front door of our villa opened then. Emma rushed to greet Victoria, who swept in wearing designer clothes that cost more than Alexander's monthly salary. Victoria, I've been waiting forever. Come in, come in. Emma helped Victoria with her massive Louis Vuitton travel bags. I've missed you so much. If only you hadn't left our territory back then, you could have been my real sister when you mated with Alexander. Sarah grabbed Victoria's manicured hands. Exactly. I always saw you as my future daughter-in-law. In my heart, no one compares to you. They said this right in front of me, without a shred of shame. In that moment, my heart froze toward them all. Victoria may have been Alexander's childhood sweetheart, but she abandoned him when our pack faced financial crisis. The pack almost collapsed 6 years ago. Our territory was raided, our businesses destroyed. Victoria's family fled first, taking their money with them. They didn't even say goodbye. Just disappeared one night. Alexander was devastated. He'd planned to mate with Victoria that month. I was the one who paid off the pack's $500,000 debt. My therapy practice was thriving even then. Alexander only accepted me as his mate out of gratitude. The other warriors mocked him for it. Called him a gold digger. But I didn't care. I thought love would grow between us. At the end of the day, the pack owed me everything. Emma had been my responsibility since she was 10. I cooked her meals, washed her clothes, drove her to training. I paid for her private tutors. $5,000 per month just for extra lessons. I bought her designer clothes so she wouldn't feel inferior to other pack daughters. Now at 15, I'd raised her for 5 years. I might be her sister by rank, but I'd been more of a mother. As for James and Sarah, I'd given them everything. They had no retirement savings when I joined the pack. Their warrior pensions were pitiful. So I gave them $8,000 monthly for my therapy practice. I bought them a luxury SUV for easier mobility. I paid for their medical treatments, Sarah's arthritis, James's heart condition. I paid the villa's $12,000 monthly mortgage. I handled all household expenses and 3 daily meals. I hired cleaners, gardeners, and assistants to make their lives comfortable. The villa's electricity bill alone was $1,000 monthly. I never complained. I wasn't so much their son's mate as their financial support, an ATM who also cooked and cleaned. Even my therapy office building supplemented PAC income. I rented space to PAC businesses at discount rates. My client list included some of the most powerful wolves in 3 territories. Each therapy session brought in $1,000. I worked 60-hour weeks to support this family. After everything I'd done for this PAC, they still treated an outsider better than me. Victoria approached me, smirking. Her designer outfit probably cost more than Alexander made in 2 months. I'm so sorry, Sister Scarlet. If I'd known my joining would force you to travel through Shadow Pact territory alone, I might have declined. I was going to step back, but Alexander insisted he had a solution. I offered to take the dangerous route myself, but Alexander wouldn't hear of me traveling alone through hostile territory. I hope you understand. Emma hung on Victoria's arm like a starved puppy. The same Emma I'd raised and spoiled for 5 years. Of course, those Shadow Pact wolves are dangerous. What if they targeted you? Unlike my sister, she looks so fierce, like an angry she-wolf. Even rogues would run from her. They both laughed. The PAC knew Shadow Pact territory was deadly. 3 lone wolves killed last month. 2 more missing. But they'd send their PAC therapist, their provider, into that danger without a thought. Alexander saw my expression darken and softened his tone. Look, I know this isn't ideal, but what choice do we have? That high-end therapy office space you've been eyeing. Go ahead and lease it. Don't worry about the cost. I held out my hand. $50,000. No, that much. You should be grateful I'm letting you spend your own money. Don't push your luck. I sneered. Since when do I need your permission to spend my own money? How much do you bring to this family each month? Alexander's face reddened. That's uncalled for. His monthly contribution was $3,000. Mine was $50,000. He didn't pay a mating gift, not counting the $500,000 PAC debt I cleared. I brought $400,000 and the villa to our mating. The villa alone was worth $2 million. This family's comfortable life came from my therapy practice. Other PAC members saw it. They whispered about the warrior who lived off his mate's money. Since they all preferred Victoria so much, maybe she should support them instead. Let's see how long they last on a failed therapist's income. Scarlet, start dinner. Everyone's hungry, Sarah called. Victoria, you used to share meals with Alexander when you were pups, right? Oh yes, we hunted together 3 times a day back then. Such wonderful memories. You must miss Sarah's cooking after being away so long. I turned to Sarah. Sarah, why don't you cook for Victoria? Then I settled onto our Italian leather couch and started grooming my fur. The couch cost $15,000. I'd bought it last month with my therapy earnings. Alexander came over. How dare you make Sarah cook? Her arthritis is acting up. Get up and start dinner. The same arthritis I paid $3,000 monthly to treat. I feigned surprise. Sarah, are you ill? Why didn't you tell me? I could have treated you. Sarah bristled. Who's ill? I'm perfectly fine. Don't curse me. If you're well, why are you cooking for Victoria? Don't you want to? Sarah's face darkened. Who says I won't cook? She spent 2 hours in the kitchen before finally serving dinner. Emma pulled Victoria to my usual spot at the table. Sister, Victoria's our guest. You don't mind giving up your place, right? Sarah ladled out soup. If you're uncomfortable at the edge, take your bowl to the kitchen. And clean up after. Incredible. They wouldn't even let me eat at the family table. No need. My client's expecting me. I'm dining out. Alexander growled. We leave tomorrow. Where are you going? Have you even packed? What? Those mighty warrior paws can't handle packing? Alexander gaped as I walked out. I treated myself to a $1,000 steak at the most expensive restaurant in our territory. Without a large family to feed, this she-wolf had money to burn. I stayed out until the moon was high before returning to the villa. The villa was dark when I returned. Not one MindLink message, call, or text while I was out. They'd all gone to sleep without a care. I made my way through the darkness to the master bedroom. The moment I entered, my wolf recoiled. Victoria's cheap perfume saturated the air, mixed with something else that made my stomach turn. Alexander's aroused scent. My territory. My home. My mate. All tainted. The moment I sat on our California king bed, a shriek pierced the air. Ah! I jumped, quickly hitting the light switch. There was Victoria, lying in my spot. My spot, where my scent should be strongest. Where my mate bond was anchored. My blood didn't just boil, my wolf howled for blood. My therapy training on anger management flew out the window. Before I could think, my claws were out and I'd struck Victoria across the face. I didn't hold back. My claws left deep marks. Victoria burst into tears, the scratch marks already healing. Alexander sat up, shielding her. Why did you attack Victoria? We were just talking late and accidentally fell asleep. The mate bond screamed at their intimate position. Really? You accidentally ended up in our bedroom, in our bed, in each other's arms. We were waiting for you. You were out so late. Victoria kept me company. We were talking in here and just dozed off. It's perfectly innocent. His voice trembled. The mate bond revealed his lies. Then why no calls? No texts? Too busy reminiscing with your childhood sweetheart? If you were waiting for me, why not in the living room? Why in our private bedroom? Alexander's eyes flashed angrily. Scarlet, you're being completely unreasonable. I could smell their mingled scents on my Egyptian cotton sheets, but thankfully, my mate bond wasn't screaming in pain. They hadn't crossed that line, yet. I turned to Victoria. I'm back now. Unless you're planning to share our mate bed. Victoria clutched her face. Alexander, it hurts so much. Playing the victim. Classic Victoria. Alexander nearly whimpered with concern. Let me get some healing cream. The moment they left, I sealed the bedroom with mountain ash and activated the security locks. $10,000 worth of security features. Money well spent. I stripped every piece of bedding that carried their scent and threw it in the trash. Then I used scent-blocking herbs and went to sleep. The next morning, Alexander stormed up to me. What was that about? I spent hours trying to get into our bedroom. You woke the whole house. Wasn't that thoughtful of me? Giving you more alone time with Victoria. You should thank me. Are you sick in the head? Why would I spend the night with Victoria? You're my mate. Oh, now you remember I'm your mate? I thought Victoria's return meant I'd be replaced entirely. Victoria played peacemaker. Please don't fight. This trip should be happy. Don't let me ruin it. I'd feel terrible. See how understanding Victoria is? Unlike your petty jealousy. Alexander growled. Sarah joined in. Scarlett, your behavior is getting worse. Denying your mate access to your bedroom. Don't let it happen again. We'll overlook it this once. James snarled. You've spoiled her. A warrior's mate should know her place. No female dares deny her mate entry. Such defiance deserves punishment. That would teach her respect. Emma smirked. Sister, with your jealousy and temper, my brother might reject you as his mate. The same sister I'd raised and spoiled for 5 years. Victoria watched me with triumph in her eyes, already imagining herself in my place. Alexander dragged the luggage to me. Hurry up, we need to leave for the territory crossing point or we'll be late. Scarlett, you carry all our bags, Sarah said. The protected convoy has strict limits on what we can bring. You can carry everything since you're going alone. I looked at the 8 massive designer suitcases, each weighing over 50 pounds, and smiled. Of course. You all go ahead. I'll be right behind you.